You're live, Daddy.
Yep, I'm live.
You sure it is right now, like what? Anybody watching?
People watching this are gonna be like, "What?"
Boy, this camera is junk.
It is
Can't you get a new camera?
expensive.
No, they're not that expensive. $60, $70. Not terrible.
Okay.
At the same time, I just paid $500 on the Suburban tomorrow, so prefer not to.
Wait, what's wrong with it? Do you know?
Water pump blew again.
Again? I didn't know that it had blue once.
Last year, during spring training for you.
Yep.
Suburban broke down.
Oh, wonderful.
You and Coach were sitting there waiting for me to come pick you up.
Oh, right.
And I was sitting at the side of the road going, I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Oh, yeah. We just.
So they replaced the water pump. And now it blew up again last night when I was delivering food to Mama.
Oh my goodness.
Did the car just not start again, or did it just?
Oh,
split
no,
out?
I got out of it and noticed a whole lot of water running out of the underside of the car. And I was like, that's not normal.
Would it still drive back to the house?
No, it was overheating at that point. It's not a good idea to drive it 10 minutes home.
Because it was explode.
Not explode, but overheat and seize up.
It'll mess up other parts.
Yes, it'll mess up a
It'll
whole
make,
lot.
yeah, it'll make other parts break that weren't broken.
So did you read through chapter 1?
I read through chapter 3.
Oh, there you go.
Look,
This
after
is-
last winter, we have to stay on top of things. I think we should do our homework and read the next chapter each week
Yeah, oh yeah.
because
We're going to be done by Thanksgiving. We're not doing that again.
But I am so used to not literally translating because I know that Baruch Atah is blessed are you,
Right.
or you are blessed. So I not translate mine literally. I made them into sentences, which is what I'm used to doing. I mean, I know what the words are,
Yes.
but it's just a habit for me to make them into sentences. And then I looked in the book and it was like, yeah, this is this. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the same thing.
Yes.
But I did. I read through chapter 3 because I read 1 and 2. And then I was like, well, let me see what's next. I didn't do the homework. I did our homework. But
That's okay. I'm looking. This is my book from Hebrew 2. Not done.
oh, no. Well,
Not done.
I printed mine out because it's more convenient for me to take 3 pieces of paper.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, then with the translation, I print multiple copies. Well, because if I don't keep practicing,
Yes.
you know, it's not like I'm translating every day. So what book are you using for Hebrew 3?
A totally different teacher.
No.
He's teaching Hebrew 3.
I don't teach Hebrew 3.
He's teaching Hebrew 3.
I'm not switching teachers.
He's teaching Hebrew.
I really don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna continue with Hebrew 3. That's such a teacher.
Look, you already know how I learn. I don't want to have to explain to somebody else why their pronunciation is wrong. I don't want to go through all that again. You do know that I don't always volunteer to read these because I read them all the time.
Yes,
Okay.
I know that. That's why I also don't constantly be like, you read it, you read it. I know you know most of these way more than we do because you read a lot more than we do on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we had a
How are you guys?
bat mitzvah this Shabbat. And these things are so long.
Really?
They are long.
Like how long?
Even ours are long.
5 hours? Like 6 hours? Like
How long is
9 hours?
mine?
Like
9:30 they do the talit. 9:15, 9:30 they do the talit, and by 12:30 we're done.
y'all, Judy's gonna be late.
And see, ours usually run 2 hours. Judy's late.
Yeah.
Mine was like 2 hours.
And Cliff's
2
not.
hours.
2.5.
Cliff's not going to be here. Yeah.
Cliff's
Ours,
not
yours was. I mean, we do worship first, and then we do
Mid had a little extra thing.
all the
but that only
readings for
took a
that
few
week and
minutes.
all that first. But then she did the teaching.
Oh,
She
they
had-
have to do they do the first blessing, then the 7th parsha reading, then the Haftarah blessing and reading, and also do the Torah service.
No, I just do the first reading.
No, see, she had to read the first 3 verses out of the scroll. As her.
Why didn't I get that?
She had to read the first 3 verses out of the scroll. Then she did the. We had an apostolic reading, and so she did that part.
No, I did the first reading, remember?
Oh, that's right. You do the first.
very
reading.
first
I
one,
forgot
yeah.
you do the first reading.
And then somebody else did the apostolic.
That's right.
Well,
I think Mom
yeah.
did.
Well, y'all just
You're
do one blessing.
Oh, for
Y'all
the
don't do
whole.
like
your
Yeah,
parents.
we don't do it in between every reading.
Yeah.
And
See, then we got a blessing.
we'd never
before
get out of
that.
here.
Exactly.
And then I taught teaching about the parsha.
Right. Then she had to give a sermon.
The Devar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had to preach.
Yeah, we had a Devar too. 7 parshas, a Maftir,
Yeah.
a Haftarah, a Devar, and all the other stuff. Torah
Yes.
procession twice.
Yep. We had to do Torah profession. Then
They did throw candy.
we did blessings. So we had like, what was it? How many people? 7?
a
10?
lot.
We had a bunch of people. 10 people, I think it was. 10 or 12 people come up and pronounce blessings over her.
And then
that
light
she
candle.
picked. She had to pick all these people.
Then light a
Aw.
candle.
Tell her pronounce blessings over them, over her, light a candle and all that. And then,
We don't do candles, but 3 different Misha barracks. Then we got to bless the parents and thank them.
and then I put a tallit on her, and then,
Yeah, we do that first. They get their talit at the beginning.
yeah, we do it at the end. But
Yeah, no one's usually there
then we,
for that.
then we put her
I
on
show up 10 minutes after that.
then we put her on a chair and carry her on the room.
I know.
She's like, oh my God, what are you doing to me?
We just roll around the room.
All right, Judy's going to be late. Do I go on?
Might be 20 minutes. So I told her that worst case scenario, she wouldn't miss much.
Well, Cliff's not going to be here at all. He
Okay.
has a nephew's birthday party that he'd rather not be at. But
yeah. I got a grandma birthday party today.
Cliff is hopefully watching this and listening. But
Oh,
I'm trying not to get any visitors. My whole family's in Florida. The last hurricane, don't y'all remember my mom?
are they on the
came?
west or the east coast?
They live dead center.
Oh. Well, they're going
They
to
live in Northeast
They
Florida.
are gonna get some for sure.
They're
Jacksonville.
Yeah,
But we live
I think-
inland. We live
right,
between
yeah, yeah.
Jacksonville and Gainesville.
That's right. Yeah, they're going to get something.
You might expect somebody to come. I don't know.
Yeah, see, my parents are in Southwest Florida, and so they were like, okay, we're going to the Best Western.
I have
And
some
then
friends
as
that are
the week
in
went on, they're
South
like, canceling reservations. We're having a pool party.
Florida. Yeah, well now they're predicting that it's a Cat 5.
Oh,
And
it's bacon.
they're predicting
It's
that
bad.
they may be about 70 miles off course, which means
Yeah.
it could be 50 miles inland because they're only estimating
Yeah, I
20
mean, it's-
miles off the
yeah.
coast.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, their prediction is like grazing the coast at this point. It's like, dang, God, that's
That hurricane comes ashore tomorrow. It'd be the anniversary of the 1935 Labor Day hurricane
Yes, it
that
would.
killed 200 people in Florida.
Really?
Oh yeah. But I grew up in Florida. We lived in the Keys for a long time. I'm a hurricane person. Like I know my
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you have to, you know.
You know, when I saw it yesterday, I told my mom, I said, that's going to be a Cat 5 before long. Just wait. I think the millibars dropped to 135. Winds are over 200 miles an hour by the eye. I was like,
it's a bad one. Yeah, even if it doesn't hit land, it's going to be a mess.
Bahamas are
along the
getting
coast.
it now.
Oh, they're getting wrecked. Just wrecked. Just wrecked. I would want to live in those islands. I mean,
I'll
what
tell you.
was that one that went through last year before that just,
Irma.
I mean, it
Yeah.
scoured that one island bare.
Yeah.
There was nothing left standing on the island. It was literally flattened.
Yeah, I have visitors then. My parents, their house did not flood, but the roads all around them to get to their house flooded.
God,
They
the
were
house
here
was missed.
2 weeks. Well, it's where our house sits, but
Yeah.
they were here 2 weeks.
Because it's smart to buy, if you're gonna buy property there, it's smart for it, you know.
A little
Yeah,
bit of
'cause
elevation.
You gotta really think
We're
about
not
it.
far
Yeah.
from the Swanee,
Yeah.
so everything rises.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, I'm hoping no visitors.
You guys coming back tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planning to. I might have to
Yeah,
take
because
2
we've
trips.
got chicken that we have to bring.
Chicken.
We went
chicken.
and we went and served at the Urban Ministries last night.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. How
Tim-
was that?
We had 22 of us show up to serve, which was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrilling. They only had 25 people show up to eat.
But we had
We brought
food
food.
for like
Individual
60
We
or
brought
70.
food for 70.
Oh my.
And so we had a lot of leftover chicken. A lot of leftover fried chicken.
Gotcha.
So I brought it here, stuck it in the
So
fridge
that's
here.
definitely what's happening.
I'm
yeah.
going to take it home when we get done here, pop it in the oven to warm it back up, and bring it back for Rosh Kodesh.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh yeah. Then we had all the blessings for that.
You could just read the blessings.
Yay.
And I was sitting there, I was like, I'm not staying for all night. I'm not staying, I'm out of here. Nope. I get off till after 4.
We got a grandma's birthday. She's 88
Ooh,
today, so we'll be doing that. She's got dementia though, so
she won't even know.
She thinks she's 60.
you know.
She won't even know
I'm
here's the birthday.
You don't look a day over 20.
When my mom gets dementia, my dad said he's gonna go in her crafters. and
When
just
my
pick up
mom-
stuff
Oh, she
and
definitely
put it by
gonna
her
get
so
it.
that she knows that, so she thinks she went shopping. She's a little bit of a shopper. I'm sure she's gonna get it. Both my grandparents have it on her side. I think I have it now.
None of my grandparents had any form of dementia
That's good.
at all. Now, none of them lived past 76.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
no.
88.
Right. Rebecca's great grandmother died, no dementia, no nothing,
Yeah.
at 98.
Like by the time you're 88, you're a little delirious.
Her
You
grand
know, maybe.
her grandmother died like 2 years ago. She
Uh-huh.
was 86, 87, something
Wait,
like
she's
that.
dead?
I love that.
Yeah. That's why great grandpa's in a home at this point.
Oh.
Remember?
Right.
But the only reason she died when she did was because she fell and hit her head.
My grandmother was 89. She died during Katrina. They were in New Orleans.
In New Orleans. Oh gosh. But yeah, her family is very long lived. Mine is not.
My mom's side is. My dad's side's not. His dad had a heart attack at 54. Dropped dead.
Mhm. Yeah, my dad turned 73 this year. My mom turned 72. So it's like,
My parents are like your parents' age. My parents are the same age as your parents.
well, watching the clock here.
He's waiting for his inheritance.
No, there's not going to be anything left. They're spending it all. The only thing I'm going to inherit is,
Their house.
yeah, maybe. Well, I won't inherit it. It's part of the family trust. So they set up a limited liability corporation, bought their house and put it in the corporation so that they're like, everything we own is just in that, so that when we die, y'all just take over the trust.
That's what we did with my parents, and it's so much easier than.
Not having to deal with it.
No.
The only problem we have is that the community they live in is a 55 or older community. So you have to be
liquidate.
55 in order to own
Or
it.
liquidate.
Right now, his older brother's the
But
only one who's even close
If
to
the
that.
corporation owns it, we may not have to.
Well, yeah, you may not, but it may have in their covenants in the community may have some stipulations on who can live there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. We
Yeah.
can't live. We could rent it out though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to find the right
Where's
person.
it at for the summer?
The whole community down there like pulls together and is like, hey, I've
Where
got a
are they
house.
at?
It's Englewood, Florida.
The villages? Is that like
Tangerine Woods,
okay?
and
Yeah, the villages are like that as well, but I think
Yeah.
they're closer to Orlando.
yeah. And my parents know the reason why they bought the place there is because they have high school friends, like 7 or 8 different high school friends that moved into that place. I'm like, you still know people from high school? Facebook.
That's right.
Reconnected on Facebook. And,
That's right.
oh my gosh, after 50 years, we're still.
For them, it took, 30, 40 years to reconnect. So.
Yeah.
Because it
So-
took some people a while.
See, we won't have that because we've seen
Yeah.
our friends over Facebook. We will never reconnect
No.
because we just, casually look at your family's pictures every now and then when they pop up in our feeds.
Right.
So
Like,
But-
oh yeah.
we're not in the generation of reconnecting.
No.
We're actually the generation of unconnectedness.
Right.
I think we
If
were the
anything.
first to really reconnect, my generation.
My family had a reunion,
So,
sort of, in New York over the summer. And it was my dad's side of the family, and only about half the people that were invited came. We still had 40 people there. And
that's good enough.
yeah, I've got a big family. But there were cousins there, and like
I
their
didn't even know
kids
about them.
that she has never met
Yeah.
because they live in
So
DC
far
or
away.
they live in all these different
I
places.
didn't even know I had older cousins. At all.
So you have a whole extended family you didn't even know
that
about.
Yeah.
she does know about, and like kids that I haven't seen in 10
Yeah.
years, 12 years, and it's
Who
like
are
now
like-
they're
now
in
they're- yeah.
college, and it's like
Now
oh
they're
my
like
gosh,
growing up and
I'm so
you
old.
feel old. Yeah. I know.
It's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it's like I'm talking to the next generation about bourbon, it's like, and they're old enough to drink it.
right.
Oh well, my dad drinks that.
Oh god. Oh god.
All right, well, Judy will be here very shortly. So, yeah, this book starts you off running big time.
Did you guys do the homework or? Yeah, me too.
Read chapter 2.
Yeah.
Me too.
And 3 actually.
That'll kill me.
Yep. I think I made flashcards through
Yep.
3 and everything.
I was showing her I don't even have my homework done when I took the class.
That's so funny.
Y'all kill me.
I love school.
Me
Oh my
too.
God, I love school.
So Jeremy told me a lie. He
Oh.
said he was not teaching Hebrew 3.
That's not a lie.
Oh,
He's
it
teaching
is.
Hebrew 3.
I am not teaching Hebrew 3.
I'm not changing teachers.
I have never taught Hebrew 3. I don't even know what book Donna uses for Hebrew 3.
Look
it
it
up.
up.
But that's
You can do it. Look, we're gonna breeze through this so
At the same
easily.
time.
You're gonna like bring it on,
This
guys.
This
Come
is
on,
the third book in
come
this
on.
series.
We're doing
There's
this
4 books
together.
in this
Come on
series.
now, we're
They're
doing
gonna
this
convince
together.
her.
I know, that's what he keeps telling us. Now he wants to quit
That's
halfway.
You can't. We're not quitting. You can't quit.
You're right.
Come on now.
At the same time, I'm looking at my watch going, Donna,
Are you taking over, Don?
Yeah. Like, oh, you're gonna retire sometime, right?
After
don't know.
book 5
I don't
of
know.
this series, you can.
Is there 5?
I think there's 4 or 5.
I know there's
6.
4. No, we have 6 levels here, but
They switched to Hebrew.
they changed to the
the
first
ones
Hebrew
that
primer.
we use.
Yeah.
They switched to the
Oh,
after.
basics.
They use a few of these so you learn roots.
Right.
Because the basics doesn't teach roots for some reason.
Yeah.
And then they switched to the basics, which I think is a great plan. That's a great plan. I like that.
Another good book is Prayer Book Hebrew the Easy Way.
What's that?
Prayer Book Hebrew the Easy Way. It's really good.
Okay. I'll have to look at that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so each chapter of the book begins with a section of Hebrew reading practice.
I can't believe it.
By the end of this, we were translating, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, by the end
By
of this
the
chapter.
Yeah, I know.
By the end of this chapter.
I was so proud of myself. I was like, I just translated this whole. Now they give you half the words. But
They do give you half the words
Mhm.
because you haven't seen them and so you don't know them. And that's the
Yeah.
nice thing is they actually do, they give you hints like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
by the way, this word is this and this word is this and this word is this so that you can read it and translate it.
But now the next time you see it, you'll have already seen it.
And the point of using excerpt from prayer books and things like that are generally they're things that you're using all the time.
Yeah, repetition.
Just like you were saying, I know all these because I use all
Yeah.
these.
That's
Yes.
why I don't always volunteer to read stuff when we're reading.
Because Judy will just call you a shell. No, I'm just kidding.
I just stumble through
She
this.
sent me the sweetest message. She's like, "It feels so bad." I was like, "Judy, we're friends. We pick on it. It's like we're friends. This is what we do."
I didn't know
Like,
we were gonna.
So this whole
Offended.
book
no,
goes a whole lot more into roots and vocabulary than Hebrew 1 does. Obviously, because now you know the letters, you don't need the letters. Now you need to know how to take letters, make words out of them, and make
Yeah.
sense. So it doesn't really get hard into grammar. It doesn't get into verb conjugations and things like that. The only thing it really covers is participles in this book. For the most part, I think there was something at the end of this that really didn't like chapter 10. There was.
I'm
something
just glad
that
it's
didn't
done
belong
with the
here.
made up words.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Yeah, I
a
didn't
great
really like
thing.
that.
That is a
Now we
great
get to learn. I feel like we were wasting time.
Right?
Not using real words.
Yeah.
Although I do understand the purpose of it if you don't know all the letters.
It's a phonetic thing. It's
Yeah.
when it's
That's
getting you comfortable. And I was just going over this because I Hebrew 1 last week I had 8 people. This week I had 3 new people.
Really?
On
It
top
was
of that.
11 people?
Not all the people from first week showed up second week.
So how many total do you have then?
I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
But
Okay.
I know 2
We're just busy today.
had other commitments.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 had other commitments. and
That's
then
really
one was
exciting. This is growing.
one I did not hear from. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a big class, biggest class I've ever had. So
That's really cool. Yeah.
this is great. I'm thrilled. But so because some of them weren't there last week, I had to kind of go over some of the first week stuff again. But one of the ladies has been to Israel and
Oh, yeah.
has done some studying, and so she's
Knows a little bit.
like, what about the method of this? And I was like, it's primarily phonetic. And so you'll do a whole lot of nonsense at the beginning.
Yeah.
The first 5, 6, 7 chapters, you're doing a whole lot of nonsense words. When you get toward the end, you're doing more of the.
When I first started learning, I would just write words that would sound like things that were English words, and like I would, you know what I mean? I would write
Yes.
sentences
Yes.
like
Kind of like those silly
Yeah.
exercises we had.
Yeah.
He ate my beats.
Yeah.
You know, kind of stuff. But yeah, so we're going to get a whole lot more into vocabulary and roots
Good.
because those are the building blocks of any language is knowing what word to use.
What words mean?
Yeah, if you don't know what a word means, you can't use that word,
Can't
can
read
you?
it.
I mean, you can.
You can, but
I've seen people do it.
usually when I ask a kid, "Do you know what that means?" It's because they've said something they shouldn't be saying. But
You gotta say it with confidence.
Yeah.
yes,
That's the thing. If you're gonna say it wrong, you have to be confident.
you don't sound dumb.
Then
Sound,
most
sound,
people
sound
Yeah.
won't
confident. and dumb.
question you.
Confidently done.
But the average person won't question
I
you.
am secure in my ignorance.
Just like
As long as
if
you're secure, you
you're
know.
throwing out a random percentage and you're like, I'm 47.6% sure. Most people don't question that. Or if you're saying that's 47.6% of that, they don't question it because they don't know. I do it all the time.
Because
I do.
84% of
If you're
statistics are
gonna
made
give
up on
a
the
fake
spot.
statistic, be
Yes.
super exact about it.
Yes. I don't question that.
It's because 84% of statistics are made up on the spot.
3.1415.
Oh gosh. Everybody gives fake statistics.
Absolutely.
The
So-
is 3.
Only about 10%.
The first paragraph there, just talking about how we substitute things for the Yod He Vav He, for the name of God. So we'll see a lot of the double Yod thing. So when you see it, just say Adonai. If you see the 4 letters, because it does show up sometimes, we say Adonai. The word Shekinah, the Shekinah glory. I can't hear the word Shekinah without thinking of that because, boy, I've heard that a lot.
I have heard that a lot too.
The Shekinah glory, which is nowhere in the Torah or in the Bible at all. It's definitely a much later term that came about. So, we don't.
Did, she kind of didn't.
So, when we're practicing the reading, if you see the 2 yods, just go with Adonai. So, we should have no problem reading the first one, Olivia. Baruch atah Adonai. Very simple. There's Judy. I knew if I dragged long enough, she'd
Squeaky.
get here.
Hurry up, it's your turn to read.
It's your turn to read.
Well, let me go to the restroom first. After 40 minutes, I got to go.
Then maybe go on and read the second one for me.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Vayed.
Perfect. Yep. These are things we say every week.
Yeah.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vayed.
That's perfect. A perfect guess. So, on page 10, the expressions.
Wait, where?
That's page 10, the expressions.
Just the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Baruch Hashem.
Right. Baruch Hashem. Blessed is the name. Oh, thank God.
Sig is the Lord.
Or the next one, maybe.
Baruchim Abayim.
Right. Berukim Habayim. Welcome. Blessed are the ones who come. Rather complicated way to say it.
Baruch haba Bashem Adonai.
Yeah, I can't figure that one without
Yeah.
thinking of the song.
Oh.
And then the last one in that group, Olivia, from the Bir Hamazon.
Baruch Ho. Baruch Ho.
Not ho.
No? What was it?
Who. Who.
Uvaruch.
Yeah.
Shemon.
Good. Baruch hu ubaruch Shemo. Blessed is God, and blessed is his name. There is going to be a lot of vocabulary. So yes, flashcards are definitely going to be the order of the day.
Should we be doing all of these words? Like all of them? Okay.
Well, no, okay. Vocabulary is
That's what I
vocabulary.
was. Yeah, okay, got it.
Roots.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. There's a lot.
If you're, yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot.
What I generally would recommend is for the roots, do your flashcard with the root on the back, the basic meaning on the front, and then a word that you can associate with that root. So,
Yeah.
Beit Resh Kasafit Baruch. We already know it. So I know that means blessed. So that's going to tell me the meaning of that root, basically. Shin Lamed Mem Shalom, that kind of thing. So associate a word with that root that you
Maybe.
already know, so that you can look at it and know the meaning when you see that root. I would not copy out all of these because obviously we are,
It's a lot.
yeah, you're talking about dictionary level
Yeah.
flashcards. Then you might as well just have a dictionary.
Page 10.
Yeah,
Don't
we're on
have that
page
many
10.
flashcards.
So you're going to have 7 or 8 vocabulary words for every single chapter.
And that's the ones we need on the cards.
That's what you should have on the cards.
Okay, that's what I got.
And maybe the roots too, but you should probably already have those roots.
Oh, I've already got the roots.
So in this chapter, we have Baruch, which we already know means blessed. Then we have Atah. Atah, which means you.
Da, da,
The pronoun you, second person pronoun,
You.
right? Then we have who.
Ooh.
Who is he, but it's masculine. Who is he and he is she.
I know, I saw that. I thought, well, how cool. You know,
Or
that's
it.
that's
Right,
like our,
yes.
our world over here. They don't know if they're he or she sometimes. So it's kind of weird.
Well, they have to know in
I
Hebrew.
missed you for the first 15 minutes of this class.
where have you been for the last 20 minutes? Baruch, Atah, who. Then we have Yisrael, which obviously is Israel. Then we have Shem, which we know from last course is name. Then we have Olam. Notice that there are multiple meanings for this. This happens a lot in Hebrew. They will use one word that means multiple things depending on the context. And that's mostly because English is a more exact language in some cases. Not always, but in some cases. And so when they say Olam, they could be talking about the world, they could be talking about the entire universe, or they could be talking about all of time, eternity, forever and ever. Le'olam vayed.
For all of eternity.
Right.
I gotta show you what I got later. I thought I'd have time. I messed up. Go ahead.
Context is what's going to give you that. You're gonna know from what the sentence is telling you whether you should use the world or the universe
Or time.
or time or eternity, forever and ever. Le'olam vayed. That's taking that olam and putting it into a context that says we're talking about time here and we're talking about eternal time, forever and ever. Hebrew does have masculine and feminine, which English does not. That can get confusing. Don't let it bog you down at this point. Later on, it does become important because if you use the wrong word for the wrong group, it's going to be weird. It's like if I walk into a bunch of men and say, "Ladies, how y'all doing?"
The
They're
live will
gonna-
go, "Ah."
They're going to look at me and be like, "What is going on here? This doesn't make any sense."
Mentally unstable.
That's what you may notice when I send out emails to a group of people. I just kind of say, "Hey, folks,"
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't want to.
You don't want to offend anybody.
I don't want to accidentally step on somebody's toes. You know,
Hey, y'all.
Short, yeah.
all y'all.
Oh,
So,
y'all.
all y'all.
Hey, y'all. All y'all folks.
There is actually out there somewhere a document that describes the proper use of y'all.
Really?
Stop it.
That shows that y'all is the most one of the most grammatically correct terms in the English language. That's not actually in the English language as a real word.
Please give it to me.
Bengals.
Okay, we know that most Hebrew words are built around a combination of 3 letters called a root. there are some 2-letter roots, and there are words that we don't know what the root actually is. We can look at that word and say, well, the base word is this, but we don't know where that root came from. The thing about the roots is linguists, people who actually study this stuff can trace back to the beginning of a language and say, this is where it started from. If you go and look in the Halot, the Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament, it will tell you shalom. The root is Shin Lamed Mem, and it comes from Ugaritic or Akkadian or Phoenician or whatever. It'll tell you where that word actually came from to become part of the Hebrew language. So it knows where that root is from. There are Hebrew words that we don't know where the roots are from at this point. Mostly because the further back you go, the harder it is to find evidence. So there are some that you're like, oh, well, it could be this or it could be that. The thing is we know 99.5% of every word that's in the Old Testament. So it doesn't happen often that we don't know it, but there are some that we don't. The roots for this one, there's going to be 2 per chapter. So by the end, you'll have 20 more roots. There's 7 to 8 vocabulary, so you're going to have 70 to 80 vocabulary words.
But now the first 2 that we saw, there were some we already had. So this
There
is going to be
is some repetition.
overlapping.
Yes,
Good.
there is some overlapping. The other thing that's a little bit confusing, okay,
There's a
Oh.
Bet, Resh, Kaf, Sofit. We saw that in Hebrew 1 with Baruch, right? We know that it means blessed because we had it in Hebrew 1. It's still part of Hebrew 2.
Sorry, we moved on.
You can be tested on it.
On Baruch.
It could show up on the test. I actually haven't made the test for Hebrew 2.
Don't forget that.
I have Donna's
We're gonna
old
have a-
test.
a
I need to-
reference test.
I haven't had a Hebrew 2
After
class. This is my
fine.
first Hebrew 2 class. So I
Daddy,
gotta make the final.
Why don't you just forget about it?
I guess I can't forget about
Don't
the test.
forget, we're having.
If you want to move on to Donna's Hebrew 3 class, then you have to take
We see what you did there.
Yes.
They're gonna force you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Dad,
So,
they're gonna force you to
again,
do it.
Uh,
They're gonna force you.
If I have to do it, you have to take it.
I just want to see
Hey.
you do it.
Now, the new one for this time, we actually saw this one in Hebrew 1, but it wasn't one of the vocabulary ones, I don't think. Was it?
Mhm.
Was
What?
Shema one?
Yes, Jamal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, that's
Jamal.
right. I'm thinking of Shema.
You just taught it. Or didn't you? In Hebrew 1?
Look, that class
No.
was a really
Oh, you
long
taught
No.
Shalom. You taught Shalom.
No. The Hebrew 1, Shema was not one of the roots.
Are you sure?
It
I
was
had
one
it
of
written
the
on-
vocabulary words,
Ah.
but we didn't learn the root.
You're right.
That's what-
Yeah.
That's the kind of dumb thing about this.
But it
Is
was on
that
the
there are
test.
points where you're like, why didn't
Because
we
I
do
had
that?
it written on
Prove it.
I had it written on a card.
You have Shema on a card,
Pretty sure I have it on a card.
but we don't have the root from Hebrew 1. We only have that one word from Hebrew 1,
Shema.
but we didn't do the root.
That is the root. There
I
is
understand.
there are no vowel points with that.
It
That
was not on your test.
well, it may not have been on the test, but I had a card.
You're welcome. It was not on your test. But they gave us Sheen Mem Resh for Shomer.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave
You're
us
right.
they gave us
You're
that root,
right.
but they didn't give us that as a vocabulary word.
So maybe make that one a note card then. Yeah.
So now you have to have a card for Sheen
Glad you
Mem
pointed that out.
Ayin
Yeah.
for here, listen, obey. There's overlap between the two, and you'll be like, did we
Already
learn that
done.
before?
Oh,
Yes.
look at you on top of things. Well, Judy.
See, I did it last time because I think it was mentioned as a,
It gets mentioned, but
and
it's
so
not
I thought it
part
was
of
a
the-
root. It was mentioned as a
I
root.
know. This is where there's some overlap. So we may have heard the word and not had the root, or we've got the root, but haven't actually had the vocabulary word yet. So for this chapter, we have Baruch, which we already know. Beit, Resh, Kaf, Sofit, means bless or blessed. or blessing, depending on how you write it. And then Shin, Mem, Ayin, which has a basic meaning of hear, listen, or obey, which is what Shema means. Hear, O Israel. All these other words that are under there all have something to do with hearing or obeying.
Oh, it's to guard.
Shemer is
What?
to guard, keep,
Yeah, okay.
protect.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you will have that later on. That's in
Yeah.
another one.
That's one we've had before, isn't
Mhm.
it? Guard. Keep.
Mm-hmm.
The noon is what it's noon and noon safid on the end, so it just helped me remember.
Sophie, who are you?
What? I'm sorry, the long nun.
Oh,
There we
look,
go.
I didn't know what she was talking about.
I didn't either. I was like, what is going on?
Yelling me. So we have a list of words there that are all derived from that root.
Mm-hmm.
Shemua. What's that called there at the end under the ayin?
Huh? What?
What's under the ayin?
Is that a sneaky pata?
A furtive patak. Yes, the sneaky patak. I wish I'd never taught that.
It's a sneaker.
Very
Now-
sneaky.
That's what this book teaches it as too.
Sneaky? Does it really?
Yeah, it really
It calls
does.
it a
Yeah,
sneaky
It
patak.
that's what it does teach both, but it calls it that. Yeah. I like this book a lot. I have the whole set if you want. I didn't even write in it either.
Yeah. I bought this by accident, and then after I got it, I said, "Oh, I
It's
like
a really
that.
good one.
I like that. I'll keep that one."
For beginner.
Yeah.
Right, the furtive patak. What does the furtive patak do?
Changes the inflection on the last syllable.
There you go. From the last syllable to the next
There
to
you
last.
Next
Yeah.
one.
So, Shemua. Right, then rumor or report is. What's the next one?
Where are we at?
Shemua?
Where are
Right,
we at?
Shemua.
Shemua.
Oh, okay.
Bottom of page 11.
Or actually, Shemua.
Yeah.
Where-
Shemua.
You
Shemua.
mean there at that ayin? That's a sneaky. Is
Yes,
that
that's
the very
furtive-
first
The
one?
very first one. It's got a furtive patak under the ayin.
And why would it be a sneaky talk there? I mean,
Because it's moving the emphasis from the last syllable to the next last syllable.
but I mean, just because it's out at the end of the word and because it's under a silent letter, that's why it's a sneaky patak.
It's only actually
No, it
happens
would
under
be the
a
same if it
couple
were
of
under a
words.
het.
Yeah.
It can work under a het or a ayin. Ayin.
Ayin. Yep, that's the only time you're going to see a patak at the end of a word. Normally, remember, Hebrew words don't normally end with a vowel like that.
Okay.
The fact that the vowel is under that last one is significant, and it wants you to do something out of the ordinary. Normally, it would be like the second one there where they put a patak and then a hey at the end,
Yeah.
because you don't pronounce the hey.
Yeah, but you know, when I went down through here pronouncing these things,
Right.
all right. When you pronounce the first one, and the second one, how do you make the difference? Is it just the pronunciation?
Shemua,
Shemua
Shemua versus Semua.
is the
Shemua.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think that. I missed it on the patak. That's what I did.
That's it's sneaky. It's
See,
very
because
sneaky.
I was trying to say it.
It's
No,
a sneaky patak.
It's a very sneaky, very sneaky patak.
Are you going to teach that in Hebrew 1 class?
Yeah, I have to. I mean,
The
that's where
sneaky
you learn it.
patak part?
I'm gonna have to. Because obviously it sticks with you.
Shamia, is that the third one? Would be
Shamia.
Shamia,
I like
very
it.
good. Yep.
I like it because I can remember it.
Mhm.
and then Shamia.
Shemiyah.
Okay, because I was trying to say them both. I said, how do I do these separate? No, because I missed the
And see,
patak.
That's notice if you were to just say them,
Mhm.
they have all the same. Those two right there
Yeah,
would sound almost identical,
if it wasn't
unless you move the emphasis.
right, I must have missed that one. I remember us talking about it last time, but I don't remember writing it down. Patak.
I mean, yes, you should be more careful with that patak under the first one, or the kamets under the first one. Shah, Shamia, Shamia. But because you're putting that emphasis on that second one, you're going to shorten that most of the time to a sh. Because you're thinking of what's coming next. Shamia.
Shamia.
And then the next one would be Shamia. And it's like if you have your emphasis in the wrong place, you're going to be saying the wrong word.
And
Makes a
then
difference.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shamia.
Because instead of saying I have a problem with my hearing, you're saying I have a problem with my audible.
Is that
Which one? Sorry.
Not audible.
Shamia?
Which one?
The
Sorry.
fourth one. Shamia. Is that it?
Shemiyah versus Shemiyah before that.
Okay.
Shemiyah after it. So one is your hearing, whereas the other one is audible. So one's a noun, one's an adjective.
Shemiyut.
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 Shemiyut. Mm-hmm.
Shemu. Ati. Yeah, I was trying to get that in there.
Shemiyati.
There was one I
Good.
was having trouble.
Hashma'ah.
Hashma'ah. Very good.
Mamushma.
Exactly.
Where are we?
the next to last one.
So aggressively.
I know.
Mamushma.
It's
Shamushma.
Mamushma. Yeah, you need to be Mamushma.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And then it's mishma'at. Mishma'at.
Yeah. Right. There. If we were writing that out, if you're transliterating it, you would have like a little apostrophe between two A's. Mishma'at. Not mishmat. That's something else.
Mishma'at.
Mishma'at. You got to make sure you got that little thing. It's almost like Hawaiian. You know? It's like how many A's are in that? What was it? I heard Hawaiian only has like 11 letters
Really?
natively.
How many of them are A's?
8.2%.
Yeah, 8.2%.
Who knows that? Is that true? See, what did I tell you?
Proven.
We were joking about how 84% of statistics are made up on the spot. So,
Carrie just told us that if you put a point something on the statistics,
And if you're
you can
confident,
just say anything.
The
People believe you.
percentage is
and that's exactly what happened.
the percentage is 3.14.
You're gonna lie
I
about
believe
it.
you. You have to be confident in your lie.
If you're gonna lie about a
If
statistic,
you're gonna be wrong,
put a decimal.
be confident.
You put a decimal
And
in.
put a decimal.
all right.
Okay.
All right. Time is
Is money.
our enemy at this point. No, that's money.
Yeah.
I wish.
Shoot, I broke.
It's
But
like, hey, me, I'll teach Hebrew 3.
I would mean.
Hey, I would
What,
say
you want us to go through the building blocks then?
now we're gonna go to page 12.
Yeah, we can read through
Chapter
this real fast.
12.
Yep. We learned some of this we talked about some of this in Hebrew 1, where you put a ha in front of something, it becomes a definite article. It becomes the name versus just a name. Now, you just throw out Hashem without any context. What is somebody going to think?
The
You're-
name
you're
Adonai.
talking about God. You're
Mhm.
talking about Adonai.
Mhm.
Now, they may be asking for the name of the restaurant that you're going to go to. but
Mhm.
That would also be Hashem.
Mhm.
So context does matter on everything. I think we go over that a lot. Context. I mean, it's the most important thing in anything. So then we have Olam versus Ha-Olam. Universe versus the universe. Now, I can't think of a time where we're specifically talking about just general universes, unless you're talking physics, and sometimes they get into the multiverse kind of thing. But you will see Olam without the Ha. Blessed One, Mivorach versus Hamvorach. A Blessed One versus the Blessed One. Ba versus Haba. One who comes versus the one who comes, or the thing to come. The Olam Haba, the world to come. So I've taken those two vocabulary words there, or the vocabulary word, and stuck it with that. Olam, in that case, would be world. Could it mean universe to come? Maybe. But generally, when you're talking about the Olam Haba, you're talking about what comes after creation, what's going to happen, the world to come, and whether you have a place in it or not, according to the rabbis.
He's a Pharisee.
Then you have Ba'im versus Habaim, and that's plural. Now, there is no a or an. It's just implied. If it doesn't have the ha in front of it, they're talking about general. Any table, any house, a car, whatever. It could also, depending on the context, be definite. And we'll learn more about definite versus indefinite later on when we get into some of the grammar. Because there are cases where the house of David wouldn't necessarily have ha in front of it.
Just bait.
Beit David. The fact that you are associating it with a person automatically makes Beit, house, definite. So you don't need the ha in front of it. Make sense? So context, it could be definite without the ha. Most of the time, if it doesn't have a ha, it's indefinite. It can be any house. But if you're talking about something specific and there is something associated with it, it will come after that thing. So Olivia's table. We know what table we're talking about. There is a definite table there, but I don't have to say the table of Olivia.
Right.
The table of the peanut gallery. I don't need it.
I just called us nuts.
Oh, we don't
Yeah.
New name.
We're now peanuts.
New team.
We are nuttier than
New team.
fruitcake. But so
Yeah,
Jeez,
that's
you're
nice.
so mean.
this is where Hugh did not sit through Hebrew 1, but this crew
We're friends.
this crew for Hebrew 1 was the most entertaining crew I'd ever had. So in English, we have to be, a verb, to be.
And there is
There is a present tense of that verb, is, am, are. So you know when something's happening. We have past, was, will be, but we have a present tense in English. There is no present tense of to be in Hebrew. It's implied when it's not there. So, Hu Yisrael, there at the top of page 13. He is Israel, or it is Israel. Atah Baruch, or Baruch Atah. Either way. Blessed are you. You are blessed. The R is implied simply by not being there. So if you're looking at something, you're like, there's no verb there. Baruch atah. There's no verb there, but that's a complete sentence. Where's the verb? It's implied that it's are, or is, or am.
We're just glad that there are vowel points.
So in Exodus, when Moses asks, who should I say has sent me? God can't say, I am. That sounds like I'm putting God in a box. God can do whatever he wants. He can make up a word for am
Or
if he
she.
wants to.
So you say,
So I'm not putting God in a box here. I'm
Yeah.
putting Hebrew language in a box
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
What it actually says is, I will be what I will be.
Right.
And even that isn't
Totally right. isn't it?
deep enough for it. It's more like I was, am, and will be what I am, and I was, and I will be. I am eternal, and I am eternal, kind of a thing. I am who I am, meaning
Which is
I'm bigger than you can possibly imagine, kind of a thing. There is deeper meaning. People like to get into deeper meanings. Man, they get on the wrong kind of deeper meanings.
Yeah, then they go down a rabbit hole.
Like if you just learn the language, you'll see that there's deeper meaning to the language itself. You don't have to look at the letter. You don't have to look at how many numbers. The word itself
it's
tells
already
you that
the
there's a
obvious.
bigger meaning here. Because I will be what I will be is, okay. Then you start to expand on that and you're like, oh my gosh, this is good. My mind just blew and I'm done.
Yeah.
What? What?
It reminds me of Popeye.
I am what I am, and that's all that I am.
That's pretty cool. I would usually
Yes,
think
I
of
would
that.
Judy hates she didn't think of it.
That would be a Judy thing.
I'm all the time telling Pam, oh,
We're on the same
cartoons
team,
and
girls.
stuff.
Now we're all back in the team.
I'm surprised I didn't. Okay.
So, Baruch Adonai, blessed is Adonai, blessed is the Eternal One. Adonai Eloheinu.
Elena.
Well, Adonai our Father?
Mhm.
Okay. But Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai is our God. Not was, not will be, is. Current, present.
Hallelujah.
Baruch Hashem. Blessed is the name. Baruchim Habarim. Habaim. Not Habarim. Habaim. Blessed are the ones who come. Or welcome, as we said earlier. It's funny, I was going to be like all fancy and have like a slide up for welcome to Hebrew 1 for my new students and things like that. And I was like,
Girls, did you hear that? He doesn't like us as much.
what I also
I'm
didn't
kidding.
do was I skipped that whole first day. I skipped that whole first day when I went into all the nonsense or anything. So I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I was like, I got to get right into it. I was like, we'll talk for 5 minutes about it, but I'm moving on. I'm not getting into the weeds on that.
Yeah.
I was like, it's interesting stuff, but man, it's
Yeah.
when I want to be done by Thanksgiving, I ain't got
Let's
time
do
for
this.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So, Baruch haba, blessed is the one who comes. And then Baruch hu, blessed is he, or blessed is it. So, notice that it can take as many as 5 or 6 English words to translate just 2 Hebrew words.
Yes.
It's like that in Spanish.
Sometimes,
In Spanish, the
but Spanish
words
is
are sometimes unnecessarily long, and they mean one word in English.
But when he talks, a leaf falls off the tree. When
Oh.
he runs out of leaves, he can't talk no
the
more.
kids.
Who's in that movie?
Eddie Murphy.
Is it Eddie Murphy?
Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy.
It's a pretty good movie.
Because like garage
What was it called?
has like 3 words.
No, it's so Eddie.
I would like to see that.
I can't remember what it's
It's a
called.
pretty good movie.
Because like in
I'll
Spanish,
Google it.
garage is like 3 words.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Tree.
So, the Shema is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in English, it's Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. There's more English than there is Hebrew there, primarily because of the lack of verb. Even if it were past tense or future tense, it wouldn't have another word for that to be. It would tack it onto the Shema. It would change that verb to be a perfect form of the verb, meaning past tense, completed, or an imperfect, meaning future tense. So there's still not a separate word like in English for is and are and will be even. But you guys have all read through all this.
Yep.
But on the next page, it shows you 5 different possible translations that are actually used in different prayer books for that one phrase. Hear, O Israel, the eternal God is our God. The eternal one is our God, the eternal God alone. Okay. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. With an exclamation point. It seems silly that they included that.
It really does, yeah. They had to make it more different.
Listen, Israel.
Listen.
This sounds like the redneck.
Shut up and
the
listen.
the redneck prayer. but-
Shema.
Shema.
Shema, y'all.
Shema, y'all.
Shut up and Shema.
Listen, Israel. The eternal is our God, the eternal one alone. Hear, Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai alone.
You know, when I read all
So
that,
sometimes
I
they
was trying to
say
figure out why they had different ones.
Adonai is one, or Adonai alone, meaning alone he is our God. There is no other, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could go either way. So there's some variance in how you translate some of this stuff.
But it's actually the same Hebrew words.
All the same Hebrew words.
But that's
Shema
what I
Israel,
thought. I
Adonai
said, well,
Echad.
this is kind of weird.
That's
I
the
don't
interesting
know.
thing about Hebrew is that there's so many. You can, because the words have multiple meanings, you could translate this one sentence
Right.
right here all these different ways.
Yeah. That's weird. You know.
That's why roots are so important,
Yes.
because you
Exactly.
can grasp the meaning from the sentence from
Yep.
the root.
I mean, what's another way you could translate Shema other than hear and listen?
There was one more. Obey.
Obey.
Obey Israel.
Obey
that
Israel.
was not on there. You're
But
right.
it doesn't make sense in that context.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
doesn't make context to say, obey Israel, Adonai is your God, Adonai is one.
Mhm.
Doesn't make sense. So context tells us it shouldn't be obey. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
All these other ones, it could be. Because
Listen and hear they're
Hmm?
more similar. Listen and hear.
listen and hear, yes. Either one is trying to get their attention and say, hear me, listen to what I'm saying, kind of a thing. Either
So
one
it
of them
couldn't
could be
be.
used.
Well, yeah.
Well, you could say,
Hear and obey, but there's no
Yeah.
and. So
No, there's no and.
That is
then, yeah.
Shema, V'Shema.
There's a different word for obey though, and I can't think of what it is.
I can't either.
It'll come to me. Late at night. Or when it doesn't.
Okay. Pronouns. We started on this a little bit. Who is he? He is she. Atah is you.
No,
But
no.
At
Is
Ot is you.
is
is
you.
you.
Girl.
Right.
It's you and you and you.
Here's how that works. Masculine form will be used for all men or a mixed group. Feminine is only used for all female groups. So, when it says Shema Israel, it's using a masculine form because it's speaking to, at a minimum, the men, but more likely the whole mixed nation of men and women. There are other commandments that there is a lot of debate amongst the rabbis. Tzitzit. It's talking to B'nai Israel, the children of Israel. It's masculine form. Could be read sons of Israel. But because Hebrew uses the masculine form for both all male and mixed groups, it could be talking to everyone to tie tzitzit. So there are some rabbis who teach women can wear tzitzit. There's nothing wrong with it. The Torah does not forbid it. Other rabbis say, no, it was speaking only to the men, and the men are the ones who are supposed to wear them. Here, we go with the more open.
well, it doesn't say not to either. So
Right. There's
The
not
men
a
are required.
the men, yeah, that's where it generally comes down is they say the men are required to do it, the women are optional. If they choose to, there's nothing wrong with it. That's generally where things fall. However, you generally won't walk into an Orthodox synagogue and see any women wearing tzitzit.
Yeah.
Because they will take the stricter view.
Hmm.
If they can, they'll find a stricter view. It's like they try to make things harder. But so
You know, I've thought about this because lots of times I try to find things that would give you an opening to talk about God. And so I have thought about wearing my tzitzits out to Walmart. And then I thought, well, what if I run into an Orthodox Jew and they see that and that they would be offended by me wearing that? I actually thought about it.
I would be offended.
You would be
As a
offended.
conservative Jew, yes.
Would you?
That's more of a sacred thing that you do at home. Wearing your kippah or head covering, I wear mine now.
Mhm.
My rabbi wears hers all the time, but not a tallit. Unless you're wearing,
Not a
what's that
tallit.
called?
They
katan,
wear
Yeah.
talit katan, which is
It
an
goes under
undershirt
your-
undershirt.
that has tzitzit tied to it.
Mhm.
Right.
Whether you wear them out or in is your
Yeah,
your
now
call.
see, that would not bother me, but for you to
not
have,
not to walk around with a
tallit
tallit on.
out.
No,
yeah,
that is
I would,
generally considered
I would probably take you to task.
a fashion faux pas there.
Well, good, 'cause I don't know. I'm learning.
Yeah, a tallit is generally considered something sacred. A little more, not, I wouldn't put it up here, but it's definitely something more ceremonial than just wearing tzitzit tied to your belt loops or wearing a tallit katan. And you can order tallit
Well,
katans on Facebook.
Well, I know, but I tried to find
Oh, they're
something.
You might be able to order through Facebook too.
Yeah,
You can find
Facebook,
everything on
okay.
Facebook nowadays.
Well, I actually tried
And
to
there's
find one.
What's that?
And then
Oh,
For
there-
women.
And Amazon.
Except you can't
Oh,
find
you won't
iPods
find
or
one for women. You just
That
have
was
to
it.
order
iPods
a
anyway.
Yeah.
small or one in boy size.
Yes.
Oh,
Since women aren't required to
No.
Yeah,
buy them.
because I've actually looked for them for me,
Mhm.
but I'd probably get too hot. for me.
So there's a good
There's-
market for these for women, though. I'm just saying from an entrepreneurial
Hey.
point
That's
of view,
right.
If you're
nobody's
good-
really doing it.
If you're good with a sewing machine, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
The sewing part's easy. Wow, the teeth makes my
Yeah.
fingers hurt.
Yeah, we learned to tie tzitzit
I was gonna say,
at the
Melissa-
women's retreat, y'all. It's actually super easy
And
to
we
do.
posted the
Did you
video.
really?
We did. Judy, I could teach you in 10 minutes. It's very simple.
Go into Emmett Braca on Facebook.
I
Go into the
used to-
group.
Oh yeah,
Melissa
What's the
posted.
name of it?
posted the video. Yeah.
What's the,
You're
what do you?
part of the group.
Oh,
The
I
Facebook
didn't know
group
what you
for-
were saying. Okay, I didn't
It's-
hear.
Emmett Braca,
Okay.
our Facebook group. It's actually Melissa posted her video
Mm-hmm.
on how to tie them.
Oh,
I used to know how to tie.
You still do. You just need
It's
a
easy to look
refresher.
up. It's
Yeah.
not hard. There are multiple ways to tie them, and yes, it depends on your rabbi.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
anywho,
another rabbit
pronouns.
Oh yeah, rabbit hole.
Pronouns. Yes, pronouns.
hole.
There are singular pronouns. There are plural pronouns. So if we go down the list here with the singular, the first person, I, is going to be ani or anoki. No solid rule on which one you use.
So it could be either way.
Could be either one.
Ani,
Neither one would be wrong.
anihi,
Ano,
anoki,
anoki.
anoki,
Yes, anoki.
anoki. I'm trying to get it.
Second person, meaning you. Ata, Baruch atah, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about you, Judy,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be Baruch at.
Thank you.
So if I'm talking to a woman and I'm saying, God bless you, it would be at, not atah. Third person, we've already talked about this, he and she being who and he.
Now, are there different words for him or her? Are those different, or could you translate
They're not a
those?
him or her. It's just.
It's he or she.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was looking. It was all he or she.
Because
Mhm.
generally him or her is tied to a verb.
Mhm.
And so there's going to be a suffix on the verb that says him.
Okay.
So we would consider these words here as being him if we need it, him or her, or would there be a different word? You're saying it'd be a different word?
It's
Complicated.
complicated.
Yeah. That's when people say it when they don't know how to explain it. Is it?
We'll get there. Maybe it's one of those. We'll get there
That's
later.
I would say that it's probably a Hebrew 3 thing.
Okay.
Because then you're
Okay.
getting more into conjugation of verbs.
Okay, so we
Teach us in Hebrew 3.
Donna
that's
will,
what he's
Donna
saying.
will get
That's
into
what he's
that.
trying to
He's gonna teach
Donna
us.
will get
I
into
had to
that in
get
Hebrew
that
3.
in before he started that.
Yes, thank you. You're so smart.
Donna will teach you that. So,
I don't think Donna know what to do with us.
no, she would. You
Right.
get to, so we go to plural. We go to plural.
Mhm.
We, so first person group.
Anachnu.
Anachnu or anu. Either one. Notice when you put the new ending on anything is going to move the emphasis back. The new is not going to be emphasized.
I thought the new was the we, you, I mean, the we.
It is. It is a suffix that gets attached to verbs or nouns. Eloheinu, our God. It's a possessive suffix.
Which that
But we will go to the store
not a pasha.
would be anachnu or anu.
The kamats can change though, right? To something else depending on what it's attached to, or is it always a kamats? It's not always a kamats. When
In one
attached
place
to
that
the
there was a
word.
command turned
It
to an
doesn't-
O. Are you talking about right?
In this case, it doesn't get attached to anything.
I just-
Anachnu and anu will stand alone in the sentence. If I'm going
just
to,
the new,
just
new.
the new is what gets
Got it.
attached to
Yeah.
a verb
Okay.
or a noun. Not a verb, a
A
noun
new
to signify
or-
possessive.
They're independent pronouns.
The
Right.
would drop,
Right.
on
You're
and just the new would
you're
be.
just using the new.
Gotcha.
Wait a minute.
Elohe new.
on
Our God.
on who
Anach.
Anach
Anachnu.
Anach new
There you go. Anachnu. Or-
Anach new. I have to
Right.
separate it.
Yep, do it. That's what pencils are for. Anachnu or anu. The new ending will not be emphasized. It will always be the syllable before the new. Eloheinu. Avinu. Your emphasis is going to be before the news.
But every time you see that, you know that they're talking about us, we,
Us,
our.
we, our.
Yeah.
Yes. The new is what gives it away. But if you're just saying we will or we are,
You don't say new,
you say anu or anachnu and then the verb
not new.
in the right tense. Now, plural groups. Again, we're talking about if we use a masculine form, it's a mixed group or all men. That would be atem.
So both of these, the you and they, would be for mixed groups also? Is that always?
Masculine form is for
Masculine,
mixed
but it's
group
for mixed.
or male.
Okay,
Feminine groups absolutely are always have the feminine ending or the feminine pronoun. So if you see a feminine pronoun, aten, hein, hena, you know that there's not a guy in sight. It's
Because if
pure-
there's one guy, then it's masculine.
it's a mixed group and it becomes
Yeah.
masculine because dadgummit, it's a patriarchal society.
That's right.
It's
It's a
the tyranny of the
man's
patriarchy.
Because men
and
are
see, an
more-
M comes before an N. And
Men are better than women.
Yes.
you
yes,
got that?
yes. M comes before noon in the alphabet, so
Yeah.
Obviously, that's definitely the
it's
reason
the
why.
tyranny of the patriarchy.
It's because men are better than women.
So, if you see a feminine pronoun, it's all women, no question. Now, there on page 15, the act of saying a blessing, a bracha, when eating, drinking, seeing a rainbow, enjoying some other aspect of creation, is an acknowledgement that all that exists belongs to God. The Avinu. No, is that, yeah, yes.
What?
Avinu Malkeinu
Yeah.
is,
Our Father, our King.
yeah.
The Amidah, that's what I'm thinking of. The
yeah.
Amidah
Yeah.
is exactly that. It is I've woken up this morning and thank God for that. And thank God for this day and thank God my
We
fathers.
thank God for everything,
Everything.
and the Amida. Modéani is for when you wake up.
Right,
Thanking
right,
God
right,
for,
right.
for waking you from slumber. You
Right.
say that before you get out of bed.
Right. So you're laying there, you open your eyes, and you're like, thank you, God, for opening my eyes this morning. Thank you for giving me the strength to get out of this bed. Thank you for giving me the
You know, I feel bad about that
to
because
live
it takes me a while
a
for my
thankful
brain.
life can be very
It
tedious.
takes a while for my brain to wake up though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, because I'm getting up, my dog's barking at my feet, and the cat's going, meow, 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 and the dog, bark, bark, bark. And they're all wanting something, and I'm getting up.
That spray doesn't work unless it's got coffee.
And your response should be, thank you, God, for giving me my pets. And thank you, God, for coffee. And
Yeah. Well,
So-
I usually say that all during the day, but I do feel now. I used to until I got in with these demanding, spoiled animals that I have, and it's my own fault. But I used to always, as soon as I woke up, I would thank God for the day and all that before I even came here. But it seems like that my brain's having problems now. And so I have to wait a while for me to wake up, maybe have coffee, and then say, oh, thank you for everything, for me being able to walk in here.
There's nothing wrong with thanking him after the fact.
Yeah.
After coffee.
Yes.
I mean, I just take a while to wake up.
I hear you. So this kind of a thing will be in here where they will pull from the Talmud and they'll talk about how things are interpreted by rabbis. And this whole passage is discussing how sometimes things contradict or it seems to contradict. And so the rabbis try to make sense of it. So if you read through this, it says, Rav Judah said that Rav Shmuel said, one who enjoys something from this world without a blessing is like one who makes a personal use of things consecrated to heaven. As it is said, the earth belongs to the Eternal One and all its fullness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't bless God for giving you something, then you're claiming it as your own when everything belongs to God.
Yeah.
You're saying, I'm the one who made this coffee, when it was God who made the plant grow and
Oh, yeah.
all that. So you're not acknowledging God's role and his ownership of everything. But Rabbi Levi noted the contradiction that it's written in Psalm 24:1 that the earth belongs to the Eternal One in all its fullness, but it's then written in Psalm 115:16 that the heavens are the heavens of the Eternal One, but the earth was given to humans. The earth was given to man. There is no contradiction between these verses. The first verse is how things are before a blessing is said, and the second verse is after the blessing is said.
Huh?
So before you say a blessing, everything belongs to God.
Right.
But when you thank him for it, he gives it to you.
Think about it like this.
My coffee.
When you want something, you want this book, Judy, what do you say? Please. Think of it like
And
that.
thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
The two go together, and when
Because
that
you
happens, it
teach
becomes
kids,
yours.
They don't get it till they say please.
Yeah.
No. That's a fairly simple
Yeah, I know.
thing for the rabbi. Wow, you could go into the weeds with the rabbis because,
Yeah.
man, there is some stuff that you're just like, how do you possibly reconcile that with reality?
I am sure that Rashi had something else to say about that.
Oh, I guarantee it. Okay,
Okay.
the exercises.
Page 16.
This is
I don't
Done.
exercise.
Already done.
putting your money where your mouth is here.
Hey.
So now, obviously the vocabulary, this should not be hard for you.
Mm-mm.
Leolam Vayed is
Forever and ever.
Baruch,
Blessed.
blessed. Yisrael,
Israel.
Israel. Then Atah,
You, it,
And
No.
Eternity.
Is a long.
Atah is you.
Yeah.
Olam, eternity.
Shem.
Or
Shame
it
is
could
name.
be,
Oh, yeah.
Who is it?
Universe.
Olam could also be universe, right?
Yeah.
Who?
Shem is name,
Yeah.
but who is
he,
Or it. either
or
one.
it.
Yeah, both. I got both of them going.
Right. Some of these words have more than one translation.
Good. I thought maybe I.
So Baruch Atah means what?
You are blessed.
Blessed are
Blessed
you.
are you.
Blessed
Blessed
are
are
you.
you.
You are blessed. Yeah,
It's
blessed
different.
are
On
you.
top of it.
Blessed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Blessed are you.
It's
Yeah.
funny because there are times when Hebrew doesn't seem to care what order you put
I
the
know.
words in.
It is confusing.
But then other times where it does want you to put them in a
So
specific
weird.
order. So how do you know? Good luck. right.
Repetition.
Baruch Hu.
Blessed
Blessed
is he.
is he.
Blessed is he.
Or it.
Right. Or it. Blessed is it. Baruch Yisrael.
Blessed is Israel.
Blessed is Israel. Baruch Hashem.
Blessed is the name.
Baruch HaOlam.
Bless the universe.
Or
Eternity. Or
world.
the world. Yeah.
Blessed is the world. Blessed is the earth. Hu Yisrael.
Here it is.
He is.
He or it is Israel. Atah Yisrael.
You are Israel.
You are Israel. Atah Baruch.
You are blessed.
You are blessed. Not Baruch Atah. Atah Baruch. Hu Hashem.
His name. Right?
It is the.
He is, that's when I had a question mark. He,
It
The
is
name,
the
let's
eternity. He is the world. I don't know. Which one do you want?
We're on I. We're on I. He is the name.
that's what, okay, that's what I was wondering. He is.
There's
the
no
name.
possessive there, so it's not he has the name. He is the name. Kind of weird, but that's what it's looking for there. Hu Olam. Hu HaOlam.
He is eternal.
He is the universe.
He is the universe, or he
He
is
is the eternal. He is the eternal. He is the world.
Or it is the eternity.
It is.
I
There's
would
a lot. I just picked one.
Yeah.
I would kind of go with he is the eternal one.
So you would put one on the end of it?
I would tack one onto the end of it. He is the eternal one.
You know that.
You wouldn't. He's making it up.
Because
You're doing a literal translation.
Yeah.
He
Not
is-
add one.
he is
The universe.
the universe. He
But
is
how would
the
you
world.
choose that one?
It's context, but
Context.
in
There's
simple
no context.
sentences, that's right. So it's a literal translation.
Yes. So
Because I chose it. 'Cause
I did
it's like,
too.
this is really vague.
is the
I'm gonna
world.
choose it.
it is the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's nothing
But
wrong
I'm
with
just,
it.
if I'm passing
It's
a
not wrong.
test, you know what I'm saying?
Again,
You would pass
I would
with
not
he
mark
or
that
it.
wrong.
Okay.
I would
Wouldn't,
not.
wouldn't she pass, or I would pass with he or it?
Yes, I would
Okay.
not mark it wrong. If you're right, it is the world. He is the world. He
Okay.
is the eternal one.
Okay.
He is eternity. He is,
Yeah.
that kind of a thing. I'm not going to mark it wrong. What I'm seeing there is you understand pronoun, you understand the vocabulary word, and you understand that there's a definite article there.
Yes, and that's his.
Ha'olam baruch le'olam va'ed.
The universe is blessed forever and ever.
There you go. Or the world is
The
blessed
world,
forever and
yeah.
ever. Baruch Hashem le'olam va'ed.
Blessed is the name forever and ever.
Look there,
Blessed
she's
is the
so
name
good.
forever and
Yeah,
ever.
she is.
I
got-
did this homework
She
like
did this-
3 months
yeah,
ago.
she did this
Yeah,
months
me
ago.
too.
Because I was starting her at home, and then I was like, oh no.
After
I'll-
chapter 1, I stopped.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think probably most of us did. Most of us stopped after one.
Number 3, circle the words in the following prayer book excerpt that are derived from Beit Resh Kaf Safit.
Well, there's La Baruch. La Baruch. What now?
First, which word?
Well, I got the third
The
word.
third word in, and how do you say that?
I said La Baruch.
There's
La
no,
Baruch.
there's no ooh in there. Look at your
Lava.
vowels.
La Bare. La Bare.
Is there a dagesh in that bit?
La
No.
Ba. La Ba.
No.
Oh, La Ba. I'm sorry.
Levarech. Levarech. Good. There we go. Now we're cooking.
Sorry.
All right. Where else?
The next line, the second one.
Next line, second one.
And then
Good.
the one right after Adonai.
I'm sorry.
Hum.
Hamburg.
Hum. Vare.
Vare.
Good. Very good. Now, how about Shin Mem Ayin?
The first word.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one doesn't tell you how many times you're gonna find it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Ah,
The sixth
Took
word
that
on the
away.
second
Yeah.
line.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the 6th word,
Shemaiah.
Shomea.
and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th one.
Shomea. Again. Good. Very good.
The last one.
So pronounce those last two for us,
Shomea.
side by side, both of them, because one has the
Shemaiah.
different.
Sneaky
um,
Patak.
Yeah.
Is it the same?
Which one?
No,
It's the
Shemaiah
it's
Tefillah?
the
Exclamation mark.
I know, but it's not in that one. So what's
Yeah.
the difference in how you say those two?
There's not a difference.
There's not. A
There
difference.
isn't,
not a
but in
Well,
the weekday
pronounce
Army
that.
God, this when you chant it is sung differently. It's
Yes.
chanted
Pronounce
differently.
that though.
Tefillah.
Oh,
Tefillah.
Tefillah. Ah, listen there.
Tefillah.
Tefillah.
She's not
Tefillah.
wrong. She's just asking nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just there to be confused.
To confuse you? No, it's not.
Well, no, it's just that they literally took it
No,
from the
it's
verb.
out to get me.
I know.
No, it's that is definitely one of those cantillation marks that's telling you this is going to be sung slightly differently than the other one. But
But when you're reading it,
rule wise, they would sound the same just reading it. Okay.
I think Hebrew is so beautiful when you sing it. I wished we learned how to sing it here. Some.
we do.
No. She's talking about the cantillation.
Oh,
She's talking about
okay,
the chanting,
okay, yeah,
not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
worship
yeah.
songs.
No.
I know what you meant. I got you. You'd have to talk to Julio about that because
No, he doesn't.
he did train that, but he won't do it.
No.
Really?
It's hard.
Is what he does at the end there? Is that any or?
No, that he made that up.
Yeah, because
Okay.
different people sing
Well,
that
He
different
does the Aaronic
ways.
blessing, and he has his
Yeah.
own
Yeah,
chant to it.
because I've heard it sang 3 different ways.
There,
anyway.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so
If I sang it before.
exercise 5.
Translate.
Translate it.
Blessed is our name.
There you go.
Do what?
Blessed is the eternal one, God of Israel.
Right. Or blessed is Adonai, God of Israel. That works.
Some people said that for Adonai you could put Hashem.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Blessed Hashem, God of Israel.
Yes.
You could
blessed
do
is
either one.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they're all substitutions.
Right.
They're all these fences between you and actually saying the name.
Mhm.
And Adonai in itself, to me, just like the English word God, is not a holy word. Because it's just not. That's not his name.
Mhm.
Is it the name that we use to refer to him? Yes. The one behind our reference is holy, for sure. But the word itself is not.
But when we use
So
it,
I don't have a
talking-
problem with Adonai. It means my Lord.
Yeah,
I
Or
don't have a problem
Elohim.
with God.
Elohim, my God.
My God. Yes. His name is that Yod He Vav He
Right.
that we don't know for sure how to pronounce. Despite what some nutballs say.
Hey, don't call him a nutball. That's not nice.
I know it's not. Okay.
Okay.
B, 1 Chronicles 29:10.
Blessed are you, Adonai, God of Israel, our Father, from eternity to eternity.
That's what I have. That's what you said it was like 2 months ago.
Put in onto the eternity. I think it's
Yep.
same meaning.
Israel. Mhm.
Yeah. Me'olam Va'ed Olam. Yeah. From eternity to eternity works. From eternity to eternity, that's fine too. How about Deuteronomy 2, 3, and 6? 28, 3, and 6.
Blessed are you in the city, and blessed are you in the field. Blessed are you in your coming, and blessed are you in your leaving. Spelling later. Same thing.
Does it matter if there's the ing on the end of those, coming and leaving? Or would it be right if it was come and leave?
It can be when you come.
Either
I
one.
wrote it
Either
when you
one.
come and when you leave.
Yep.
To put.
I mean, the literal is your coming.
Gotcha.
That ha on the end is a possessive, so you're talking about in what, what you own. You own that coming, is what it's saying. So in your coming, in your leaving, but it's not wrong to say when you come and when you leave.
Gotcha.
There are other times, and we'll get to them kind of later, when you will have things that are like in the blessing for the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pri hagafen. Borei is creator, or the one who creates. Where I'm trying to say this correctly because I'm trying to remember. It's literally creator. Could you say the one who creates? Sort of. It's not actually correct grammatically. It really wants to be creator of the fruit of the vine, not the one who creates the fruit of the vine, because that's passive in a sense. By saying Borei, you are saying he himself put his hand upon this and created it by his hand, not just they all grow because of me. But it's more of a direct action than the one who creates, which is a little more passive. So, but for when you come, when you leave, in your coming and your leaving, it can go either way. That's perfectly fine. Okay. The extra credit thing is all up to you. If you want to read through that, it talks about prayer in a community service and prayer by yourself and some Hasidic view on it. But boy, if you want to get out there, there you go.
There are a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we got through chapter 1.
We got all the way through chapter 1. It is 4:30. It helps that y'all did the work
Yeah.
well ahead of time. Hopefully Cliff did the work too.
My favorite chapter is coming up.
Really? What makes it your favorite chapter?
Manish Tanaha Halila Hazeh.
Oh no, what does that mean?
Because she already knows.
Why
all
is
these
this
really-
night like any other night?
She already knows all this very well.
No, it's my favorite. That's why
Oh,
I
is it
know.
your favorite?
Yeah.
Now what is it?
The 4 questions.
The fourth question.
Why is this night different from
Yeah.
all other nights?
Who knows?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Because we eat bread without leaven. That's why.
That's right.
We eat horseradish, which is disgusting.
Oh,
We eat our tears.
Matzah.
Yep.
And we've got a plate with weird stuff on it.
Okay, so we do this next week.
Yep, that's next week, chapter 2.
And then we'll just go through it and we'll be
Yeah.
on schedule.
Yep.
Are there 10 chapters in this or 13?
There are 10 chapters in this.
That should not take us 6 months this time.
No, there's, and I get Sukkot might be a little tricky for some with preparation days and that kind of thing. We now do have the ability here to live stream the class.
I tried watching your earlier class. It was a little hard at home. It must be where I'm at.
That could be, you're still using that Verizon hotspot thing.
No.
Oh.
No, I
Yeah,
left.
for that.
I went straight talk. It was cheaper and just as good. So.
Right. But
We are
yeah,
having class on the 29th,
yes,
right?
I'm in class every week.
we will have
Oh.
class every week.
See-
On the 29th of what month?
September.
I was trying to find things for the kids, right?
Mhm.
For the kids.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let me look in this book online.
Right.
So I wasn't sure what was in it. I thought it was things where I could copy and let the little kids,
Yeah, they are having. a
Do 'em,
class
right?
too, but I won't be.
but this isn't for the little kids I've got.
And unfortunately, I won't be
This is for the bigger kids in that room, not, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep. That's definitely more
So this
complicated.
is not for my kids. Just like, really, this isn't either. I thought this would have Bible stories that I could tell the little kids, you know? But I can, actually. I could just still read these. I've got to, I'm trying to figure out, do I keep them or send them back? But I wanted to talk to Raquel and see if Raquel could use these. If she would want them. If she don't want them, I guess I'll send them back. But I'll keep this one.
Judy, I got 1, 2, 3, and then there's one that does a lot of proper names.
I will use all of them.
I really love this one.
You
a
don't-
lot.
well,
This
you
is
keep-
literally how I very first started was with these books.
But once you keep the
You
first
trace
one,
the letters.
it actually is a very good little
It
book.
really is a good little book.
And when I see,
See, by the end of this book, you already know all the Naknu. I mean, it actually goes kind of quickly.
Yeah, this series
moves
moves
very,
very slowly.
and see,
A bunch of
Here's-
them. I got all
this
of
is,
these.
see now
Yeah, one
this
like
is
them.
for the little kids, the alphabet for
Yeah.
the little kids.